Hey you guys, welcome back to High Priestess Transmissions. My name is Nikki. I'm an initiated High Priestess, witch, and psychic medium. And I wanted to talk to y'all this morning about the most underrated, but maybe the most powerful type of spiritual protection. Because a lot of people don't think about this and they just light a bunch of candles or do a bunch of baths and they're missing this one key. And the secret is boundaries. It doesn't matter how much protection magic you do. If you are allowing people to disrespect you, talk down to you, talk smack about you behind your back, and you just brush it off, belittle you, speak ill over you, downplay your dreams, that's like being wide open to their negative energy because you're not standing up for yourself. And spiritual authority and inner authority is very important. And it took me a while to realize this, but it really became concrete for me 5 years ago or so when I was doing all this protection work and nothing was working. I still felt drained, I felt discouraged, I felt really small and insecure. And my spirits checked me. And they were like, it's because you're allowing these people to be around you. How can you, be petitioning us to protect you and you're not even protecting yourself? It's something so simple. The concept of boundaries is so simple. But when it comes to actually practicing it and embodying it, it's one of the most difficult things that we can do, especially empaths. And if you're a witch, chances are you're an empath. And because we absorb other people's energy so easily, we almost feel responsible for it. And it's difficult for us to have boundaries. But that honestly is where spiritual protection starts. It's having sovereignty and having say-so over what you put up with and what enters your field. And that starts by you not being around people that don't treat you well, or that are two-faced, or talk down to you, or make fun of you, or make sly comments and backhanded compliments and all that. Fuck that shit. You're so much better than that. And I know it's easier said than done. And I'm going to give y'all a perfect example of this that ties in to this video. If y'all have been with me for a while, you might remember back in January, the first week of January, I came out with my healing container. My soul reclamation 8-week one-on-one healing container. And I didn't just wake up one day and say, hey, I want to specialize in spiritual healing. No, it came from necessity. Because what was happening is I would do spell work for clients, the blessing would manifest, and within a few weeks, maybe months, they would self-sabotage because they hadn't done their inner work. And so the cycle would repeat. And a lot of practitioners would be okay with that and just let the cycle continue of client gets the reading, client pays for the spell work, blessing manifests, yay, client self-sabotages and comes back. I'm not that way. I have no interest in keeping y'all dependent on me. Okay? I want to see you grow and I want to see you transform. And I really wanted the healing container to focus on boundaries because I know how difficult it is, as women especially, because the second that we set a boundary, big or small, people raise hell. Because they've been conditioned to not have to respect our boundaries. And it's just really important for you to have boundaries and the irony of all that is that was the original purpose of that healing container, and it's also the same reason that I ended the healing container, and I no longer offer it as a service for my core offerings. If you really want the healing container, it's by application only, and for the 8 weeks, it's $7,777. Because of the amount of work that goes into that healing container. And I was having an issue with clients not respecting my boundaries. And I was just like, you know what? I gotta shut this down, because if a client can't respect my boundaries, how the hell are they gonna create and embody their own? So I set a boundary and I shut it down. And that's also a way of me spiritually protecting myself, because I was absorbing a lot of people's negative energy in those healing containers, and they just weren't willing to meet me at the level of depth that the work required. You know? And it sucks because I love doing it. But I have to protect myself spiritually, and it starts with a boundary. Perfect example. And I think another thing about boundaries that a lot of people get misconstrued is we always think it's us communicating something to someone else and saying, no, don't do that to me. Don't talk to me that way. I don't like that. I'm not going to do that. And sometimes it is, don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, the one that's accountable for holding the boundary is you. You can't get mad at somebody for repeatedly crossing the line when you repeatedly allow them to do so. You have to hold that boundary. It's not enough to just verbalize it. You gotta hold the line. And a boundary is nothing without consequence. I have a pretty standard rule, and this goes in my personal life and my business. I have a 2-strike rule. If I have to set a boundary twice, my eyebrow goes up. On that 3rd time, you're out. So you commit 2 strikes, you're on your way out. 3rd one comes, I'm giving you the boot. Again, spiritual protection, because I'm saying what energies will and will not be allowed around me. And you don't have to be bitchy or mean or harsh about it. You know? But girl, I'll kick a ghost out. I will cut a muerto oscuro that tries to come in my house and shit. Oh, all I gotta do is kick him out. Cuss him out and kick him out. I still do my throw washes and all that, but sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is cuss somebody out and kick him out. And say, no, you don't belong here. You're not welcome here. Bye. Boop. Slam the door. Energetically or literally. And men, I've covered this before. Many men have a very difficult time respecting boundaries. I notice this both in my romantic life and also my business with my male clients. Some of them, not all of them. But like clockwork, I would set a boundary gracefully, and they would say, oh, yeah, I get that. I respect that. No problem. You're right. Within 2 hours, I swear to God, they're poking at the boundary and testing my limits. So as a woman, you really gotta stand 10 toes down on what you say for yourself. That is some of the strongest form of spiritual protection you can have. And saying, I'm not dealing with this, bye. One of my favorite phrases, very simple. No, I'm not available for that. That doesn't work for me. Plain and simple. Okay, I just wanted to kind of get this off my chest. I think for a lot of us, Aries season this year brought this up because everyone was testing everyone's boundaries. But if you need further help with this, my Evil Eye course teaches you cleansing and protection, which is a form of boundary setting. And there's also inner work in there. And you can find out more about that course at sirensnectar.com/evil-eye. It gives you a strong spiritual foundation so that you can take back your power and be in charge of your own energy again. And if you would like to support me and my content and leave a little tip in my tip jar, you can go to sirensnectar.com/tips. And if you would like to request a podcast topic, just go to sirensnectar.com/request. Okay? I love y'all. Thank you. Bye.